Good afternoon, and welcome to more M.M.E. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be discussing the robot mode for Transformers Legacy Evolution Armada Megatron. Here he is, in all of his armadic glory. Oh, Megatron, you're such a big dude. Yeah, he's big, he's weighty, and we're going to talk about him today. So, the transformation for him, and I did that yesterday. I did the vehicle review for him, and his transformation didn't score too high in my books. His tank mode scored decently well, but I did have some points on that one. So, not a perfect transformer by any means, but pretty good. Cream, I got to get my handy-dandy Lego pad out, and your fat butt is keeping it from me. Why is it all ginger cats get fat? Like, I only feed him twice a day. He just gets huge. He's like a Garfield. All right, so here we go. We're gonna measure it all the way up to the top of his shoulder pauldron thingamajigs. So he takes Ultra Magnus's shoulder pauldrons and puts them to shame. Yeah, no, the shoulder pauldron is one stud taller than Grimlock. That's easier if I just go from reverse. So that's 32. That's 31. That's 30. That's 29. So 28 studs tall. 28 studs tall. He is. Holy crap, this guy is big. He's a big guy. Now, let's measure him from the head so you don't get a terrible idea. Like, oh, wow, that's really big all the time. No. His head, on the other hand, is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 studs in height. So, 23 studs from head, and then an extra 5 studs for... Move your fat butt out of the way. I gotta put it back. Thank you. Sleepy cat. You want to come over here and say hi to the camera? Huh? You want to come over here and say hello? Huh? Are you going to be antisocial? Are you an antisocial kitty? Who's an antisocial kitty? Who's an antisocial kitty cat? You are. All right. So, Armada Megatron here is, well, he's just about everything you want in a robot mode. He's got really great articulation, and we're going to cover that in the beginning. But before we really cover the articulation and stuff, I would like to ask that you go below and do all the things everyone else asks you to do, and leave a comment and tell me your thoughts on the Armada line so far. Do you think they're going in the right direction? Let me know what it looks like if you can see, because does it look like Armada Megatron? I know Drunken Prime stated it did. Was that the so? I'm going to go by what he said on that one and say, yeah, I think it does. At least, I have vague memories of younger years watching Armada, and I do think this was right. I had forgotten his tread shoulder things were so much taller than him. Like, I didn't even realize they were like that. We're going to squeeze them down a bit. Too bad they don't, like, snap into place. That is a bit of a shame. So we're going to talk about articulation first, and we're going to discuss with the head. The head's on a ball joint, so it can look down slightly, it can look up slightly, and it can rotate left and rotate right, and even crack its neck to the left and crack its neck to the right. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it when they're on ball joints. It is annoying when they're not. Now, shoulder-wise, the shoulders here can fold down really far, but I don't think that's really for, I don't even know what that's for. That's just so weird. That can fold down, and then this shoulder can fold down. Maybe there's a base mode hidden in here I'm just not finding, but I do miss their airlock stuff if it's a base mode. Anyway, make sure that's in place, and that's in place. Yeah, so my negative on this robot mode so far is that there's no... I mean, I may be actually mistransforming it, but doesn't seem to be a clear way to really hold these shoulder pauldrons in place. I mean, you can raise it up all the way above his head, and there's nothing to lock it down. There's no lockdown for these shoulder pauldrons, so they're just floppy. Like I said, I may be actually transforming it wrong. Like, I can come up here to where it's in vehicle mode and it gets a little sturdier, but then that piece kind of wants to come up and immediately snapped into place. We're not doing vehicle mode transformation, Megatron. So we're going to slide these bits down and to a more reasonable level, so that the tops of his tank treads at the tops of his pauldrons are nearly the same height as the claws on either side of his head. I think that's right. So Coming over here to this, because of this shoulder thing, you can actually get this panel that folds up on each shoulder, and that would give you a lot more range for the arm. But that panel's really big, and it doesn't like fold up all the way to cover the tread at the top, so the amount of movement you get for the arm is just slightly more than you would have if that thing's down. And when that thing's down, you get a better elbow, I think. Now, the side-to-side is about 45 degrees. You can raise the arm up on the sides. Then you can use the tank tread movement to rotate that arm further, or you can have that arm go further down because the tank tread bit can move on its own. So I guess that's a double-jointed shoulder joint. No butterfly, sadly, no butterfly. Now, rotation-wise, the tank tread doesn't rotate, and this arm only goes back and forth so far. So if we fold this bit up, we've got not even 180 degrees of movement on the shoulder, which is a shame. It's about 90 degrees of movement on the shoulder. Single jointed elbows, and because of this piece here, I keep moving out of the way, you don't really get a lot of action with the shoulders there. That is a bit of a shame. I wish this piece was different slightly. Maybe if it wasn't so hard to, if it wasn't on a ratchet, maybe if it was on something like the side-to-side motion on the hips. Like, why didn't they put the side-to-side hip motion hinge on that piece? I mean, it just makes sense that this piece right here should be able to move freely and not be attached to a ratchet so that you can actually, get some articulation in there. Now, coming over here to the sides, we've got full rotation on the legs. And, 1 second. You're on my sweat rag. I live in Florida, and the humidity is to die for. So the waist gets that 360 rotation, but it's the tank thingamajig in the back gets in the way, and there's no way to really move that so that you don't. So I'd say it's got more like 275. I mean, you could do it this way. Yeah, you can rotate it. There it goes. I knocked the tank tread, the tank turret off, and now you can rotate it 360. That's neat, but you have to move the tank tread out of the way to achieve that rotation. Now the up and the back and forth on the legs is ratcheted. Oh, that's nice. You gotta like that nice ratchet on the back and forth on the legs. The side to side isn't ratcheted. Good grief, Hasbro. Good grief. Can you please ratchet the side-to-side joints on these guys? I don't mind the up and down being regular. It's just this side-to-side motion and how floppy it gets. It just annoys me that you've had this problem for years. Since Siege, you've had this problem of the side-to-side joint not really being the greatest in the world and being kind of floppy and extra smooth and extra loose. Even on brand new figures, that piece is always loose. And yet you never do a ratchet there. You never do a ratchet there. I just don't understand why. It makes so much sense. You did a ratchet in the back and forth, then you can do a ratchet on the side to side. Good God. All right. Now we're coming down here to the thigh rotation. It's got thigh rotation, 360-degree rotation. Whoop. And then you come down here to the knee, and the knee is also ratcheted. Once again, how are you going to ratchet the knee, but not that side-to-side hip motion. So the knee's got a really nice, sturdy ratchet on it. It's really good. Okay, coming down further, we've got a really hard-to-access ankle tilt. Like, this ankle tilt is in there. Come on, ankle tilt. Come on, ankle tilt. There it goes. Okay. Yeah. Ankle tilt is hard to get out on both sides, and you gotta break it, but then not connect it. If you listen, I'm going to bring it up to the microphone. See, you don't want that snap sound. You want it to be kind of just a little loose, but if you get that snap in, it's going to be harder to pull this thing apart. That's just something I've noticed. Okay, so that's articulation on him, and it's not the worst. Definitely, we've had worse articulation in Transformers. Though for leader class, I am a little sad that the articulation isn't more. These pauldrons do get in the way a lot, these tank things, and I do wish they had done something more with that. But that is neither here nor there. So let us talk about siege ports. I do like my siege ports. So he's got one siege port he's got two on his legs, on each leg. Yep. two. They should be around here somewhere. Oh, wait, no. He's only got one on each side of his leg, and then he's got one on the bottom of each foot. So that's 4 on the legs. And then on the sides of the arms, we've got nothing. And then the hand, so that's 1. And then we come up here, we've got a siege port. And then on the back of the tread, you got another siege port. So he's got 4 on his shoulders, 2 on his hands, none on his back. And that equals out to be 10. You know, just 10 siege ports for this guy. Not really, not really a great number for a leader class. I think there's missed opportunity in putting one on the side so we can add, you know, the fusion cannon of Megatron. Like, he can have a fusion cannon hanging out on his wrist, but this guy gets no fusion cannons on his wrist. And I'm a little sad he didn't get a sword. I could have sworn the original, you know, the Armada Megatron had a sword. But then again, I could just be misremembering. So that's that. Decent articulation and stuff. So let's go over sculpt. All right, and also talk about these. So his stupid head claws come off all the time. They get loose and they come off. And the best way to get them back together is to rotate each of these shoulder bits down and then come in here and squeeze them into place on each side. So you line each of them up independently of each other, and then once they're in place, you squeeze both of them together on either side of the head. And so that's how you do that. I'll keep these things down so we can really get in here to this head area real quick, and I can feel around. We've got a really great head sculpt here. It's really nice. There's his nose and his mouth. It's all in there. You know, they do a really good job. They're getting so much better with these head sculpts. It's amazing. I'm loving the sculpt work on these things. As a blind person, the sculpt work is excellent. I just wish his transformation was a little more fun, or a little more difficult, I should say. You know, they could have given it a few more bells and whistles and interesting tricks. Instead, it just felt like a slightly upgraded Siege Megatron transformation. Now, his chest has got some really great features here. We've got this smooth window-like feeling thing, and then on the other side, we got a smooth window-like feeling thing, almost as if he's trying to be Optimus Prime with this sculpt here, 2 windows. Weird that these windows don't, like, it'd be neat if they had figured out a way to make them appear, but they may not even be windows. They just kind of feel like windows. But it reminds me a lot of Megatron. I mean, of Optimus Prime. Now we come over here to the front area, and we've got this weird crest. I think that's a crest. What is that? Huh. I wonder if that's a if there's a Decepticon symbol in here. I don't know. Let me know. Is there a Decepticon symbol anywhere on here? You know, go ahead and speak out loud while you're watching it, you know. Like Dora the Explorer. Where is it? And then you have to say something. So there's that. You know, nice smooth areas there on each side, similar to Optimus Prime, but probably not, you know, not windows. But they do feel like windows. So coming down further, we've got his waist area. We've got a really thin waist. I like how everything comes together for the waist to make it, you know, kind of slowly dwindle down to a thin waist, and then it pops back up. You can actually extend the waist out like you can with Snarl. So him and Snarl have a similar gimmick with that waist extension bit. Yeah. I'm a Barbie girl with a Barbie waist. Black and plastic. It's fantastic. Okay. All right, we're gonna remove his Barbie waist. So thin. Okay. Coming down further, we've got, you know, these really, he's got sort of like an ab texture going on the front there. That's really fun. His crotch piece is menacing. And come down here to his thighs. They actually sculpted stuff into the thighs. Thank you, Hasbro. You listen to me. I don't even know if you watch, but you listen to me, even anyway. Now we come down here to the front of the legs, and we've got some really great armor feeling textures. It feels like it's heavy duty armor. Yeah. There's actually a little bitty spot down here. I don't know what that's for, but that's neat. There's a little bitty, like, siege port. It's tiny. It's super tiny. It's taut. I bet you that works with a core class figures gun. And we come over here to the side, and we've got this really thick side armor for his legs. And yeah, that's about it. Underside of the feet, nothing but hollow. And his feet do have some good textures to them, though. So flipping him around to the back real quick, and we've got a very clean backpack. It's just the turret for the cannon, and honestly, I think it does a better job at doing this than the leader class Blitzwing, which I just consider to be the literal worst figure of 2022. I still classify that as number one, the worst one that I got in 2022, and it will always stay that way. That Blitzwing made me mad. That was a very upsetting Blitzwing. Okay, so that's the this is, you know, the sculpt and stuff like that. Now let's go over a few of his gimmicks. He's got a couple of trap doors up here where his arms go, but you can use them to store Minicons or other things. Like we could take this Energon tube. Let's get it off his cannon. There it goes. Energon tube off the cannon, and then we can put the Energon tube, boom, right in there. Look at that. The Energon tube fits in there pretty well, and then we can shut the door. So that's item storage. We don't get item storage very often in Transformers. That's just loose containers to put things in. That's really cool. I like this. I like this a lot. And then you can kind of, you know, open the door and pull it out. Now, these were, if I remember right, on the original Transformer, they were the doors that Minicons could be stored in, like, because he was going around capturing Minicons, and he was storing them in his robot mode so that they couldn't get out. And so that's really fun that they included that. And can it actually hold a smaller Transformer? I know I have a tiny Ooh, I've got this little guy. Let's see. This little guy, too big. Okay, too big. Do I have a smaller guy? No, I don't. I mean, I may have one. Let me look at a Micromaster. Let's see. The Micromaster, I need a smaller Micromaster. I need a small Micromaster. You're too big. What about you? No, you're not a Micromaster. No, that's not a Micromaster. Ooh, okay. Maybe this Micromaster will work. I don't know why I just put that in my mouth. Okay, let's put this over here, and let's see. We may have to raise its legs a bit. Okay, so we're just going to half transform this Micromaster, and we're going to try to put him in here. Darn it, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit at all. It's slightly too small. Like, if this thing was just a little bigger, you could throw a Micromaster in that little cubby. That'd be really fun. Close this guy up. This is my favorite of the Micromasters, by the way. I love this little machine. Get all those little missiles on it. Oh, nuts. Such a clumsy YouTuber. Okay, we're just going to put the Micromaster over here. Just wow. My Minibot collection in front of my stage here is just getting massive. Oh, so many Minibots. We've now got Brawn, and we've got, but we'll talk about that next week. All right, so there's the door on each side. Sorry, that took a little extra time, and that's kind of it for. Wait, there's one more gimmick. So, and one more gimmick, and this one was when you attached and if I'm remembering this right, if you attached a Minicon to his back or somewhere on him, then his tank tread would like roll down and then spin, so that it would end up coming out on this, in front of him, just on the underside of his arm, like his right arm. So he could like raise up his arm and then pow, 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 just shoot a cannon. And I do think it looks more menacing when it has the Energon tube at the end. Let me know. Do y'all like the Energon tube at the end of Megatron's cannon? Do you think it works? I don't even know the color of it. I hope it works. I think it looks cool. So, you know, that's what matters, right? If you think it's fun, then, you know, it's your toy. You do it. All right, so, yeah, that's Megatron overall. He's not as exciting of a figure as I thought he would. He's got a lot of hype behind him, and I'm sure he looks beautiful. But the robot mode is lacking, in my opinion, and I graded the transformation at, I want to say, a 7, and I graded the tank mode at an 8, and actually, no, I graded the tank mode at a 9. I'm going to grade his robot mode at an 8, though, because I think they could do better. And so that's my overall rating of him. It's, we've got 9, 7, and 8. And then you mesh those together, rough in my head, meshing 9, 8, 7 together. It's just going to come out with an 8 average on this guy, an 8 out of 10 on the average. So, and that's off the cuff approximations. Do you want to say anything, Cream? You want to get me more views because there's a cat face? No? Okay. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please tune in tomorrow where we'll be discussing the letter U stands for you and me. Until next, bye-bye for now.